speaking from Insurance DataLab, and I'm here at the BIBA Conference with Aon UK CEO Jane Kielty. Thanks for joining me, Jane.
Thanks for inviting me, Dan.
So to kick things off, M&A
Yep.
continues to be a hot topic. And the pace appeared to slow down with activity at the start of the year, but it really seems to have picked up now. Do you think the rest of the year we're going to see the same amount of activity as we're now starting to see?
Great question, and I think it's not just in our industry actually. I think the volatility generally in trade globally, the sort of economic environment has meant that I think investors are less certain, and so I think that's partly led to the slowdown. We did start to see M&A coming back. I think in the broker sector for the UK, there are fewer brokers that are really available to that maybe fit the criteria that buyers are looking for. And I think we're probably seeing still quite a lot of activity in Europe and outside of the UK. So do I think it's going to pick up? I think for the right businesses, there's still huge competition, massive competition. I think for those businesses that are maybe not as high quality, I think that the competition is dropping off. That the seller's a bit harder for the sellers to sort of articulate how they're being successful and what the plan is for the future. And I think, I think that those businesses are going to find it harder to potentially find the right buyer. And
picking up on that point, we've heard for quite a while now that the kind of number of attractive businesses in the mid-market space has been drying up. And we're starting to see a few kind of bigger deals coming through.
Yep.
Do you think we're finally entering the age of the consolidation of the consolidators?
Possibly. I think the consolidators have got so big in their own right that it becomes, a very, very limited number of people that are probably likely to do those deals. So again, that makes it a little bit harder for them if that is their strategic direction. I also think that a lot of the consolidators are pursuing a strategy now that is about outside of the UK, so not necessarily wanting to be sold to a trade buyer yet. That's not necessarily the now game.
Okay, interesting. And what do you expect to happen in terms of valuations as we go through this year?
I think still for the very best businesses, the values are high. I think for some of the private equity owned consolidators, it's maybe harder to get to some of those multiples now. So again, there's a massive difference in multiples UK compared to outside of the UK, like Europe. So again, I think that's why you're starting to see some of those businesses look elsewhere.
Yeah. Okay. And Aon re-entered the M&A market with a move for Griffiths and Armour.
Yep.
Are we going to see more deals from Aon in the near future? And what do you look for when you're looking at acquisition targets?
Yeah. So we are by no means in the game of consolidation. We are a strategic buyer. I guess you've not seen us do a lot of deals over the. We obviously did an NFP globally, but if we talk about the UK for a second, you've not seen us do a lot of deals. But for the right deal, then we are absolutely in the market and we're all in. And Griffiths and Armour. I'm going to say almost like such a fantastic business. So much competition for that business. Everybody would have had Griffiths and Armour on their radar for 10, 20 years. Like, if they're going to sell, we really want that. Because, first of all, they've just got off the scale approach to how they look after their clients. So the very highest standards of professionalism and fantastic proposition. So no, I say we're a strategic buyer. We bought them because they've got some specialism, PI. They are the market leader in some very really strong areas. And then on the general side, they've got a fantastic client base and a fantastic team. So we will continue to think about M&A in that kind of way. So we'll always be looking for what's the best return on capital for Aon globally, and Griffiths and Armour, it's been a fantastic acquisition for us, and it's lovely to have them in the family. As an NFP, but it's a slightly different, it's particularly a North American play. But we've got a UK presence, and our cousins in the UK at NFP, we're getting really close to them now to make sure that we're collaborating at a client level.
Great. And you mentioned there about Griffiths and Armour specialising in PI.
Yep.
So are there any other particular specialisms or business lines that you look for when you're kind of looking for acquisition targets?
It's stuff that's complementary. So if I say that they specialise in PI, so do Aon, but they were brilliant in architects, surveyors, consultant engineers. We're brilliant in accountants, solicitors. So it's always looking for where's that complementary fit. Equally, they've got some sectors and some segments of clients where they're stronger, and they actually fill a gap for us, but we know that we can take their strategy or their approach and use it for, and the brand is fantastic as well, so and we're keeping that, and so yeah, we look for specialism definitely, but we also look for gaps in our offering. We also look for capability and innovation.
Yeah, I guess you look at culture too. So how important is culture when it comes to finding the right business?
It's so important. It's everything.
Yeah.
And actually, when we're doing our due diligence, we have a work stream on culture, and what it really does is looks at every other work stream, the conversations you're having in finance, the conversations that you're having about how they look after clients, and it takes every single bit of indication you get from, how quickly do they respond, are they interested in what, how they would fit into the organisation, how do they look after their people. It takes all those little things that you learn during the process, that you hear, the way you interact, and we think about, okay, do we think this is a nice cultural fit? Do they have the highest standards? Do they put clients first all the time? So yeah, absolutely critical.
Right. And finally, we released our latest broker ratings this morning, and Aon is one of 10 firms to be recognised for outstanding performance, winning a gold award. And Aon's the only kind of what we term super-sized broker to win one. So many congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very proud, and thank you for that. So yeah, the UK team are fantastic. We are going from strength to strength. You can see that in some of the results. I think we're leading the way on how we do Aon client leadership, which is bringing the whole of our firm to our clients and connecting our offerings to help solve problems, to help our clients make better decisions, and that's paying off in. I think the more we do to make our clients more successful, the more successful we'll be. So we're really proud to have been recognised. So thank you.
Fabulous, no problem at all. And thank you, Jane. Have a great conference.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks.